So I'm here with Pippa Evans, fresh from her show, Pippa Evans, Don't Worry, I Don't Know Who I Am Either. It was a really great show, so well done for that.
Thank you.
Now, Pippa is a character comedian. There was a lot of different characters in the show, and I just wondered, sort of, do they creep into your mind in your everyday life, sort of in different circumstances?
Well, obviously, so Loretta Main is the main character I do, who's not in this show. She gets her own show, just like how loud her voice is. I do use her whenever if I'm in a threatening situation. I do turn into Loretta Main, so I will turn American and angry. Whereas, say, Amangela, who's more of a child kind of character, the quiz, yeah. So she's more like she's probably the childish side of me that wants everything explained nice and simply, you know. So I don't know. I mean, I think the reason I like doing characters is because I get to be other people other than myself, and I've always. Suppose I probably thought I wasn't interesting enough. So terribly sad, isn't it?
Well, I was going to say that maybe they're actually secretly they're all different facets of your personality, amplified and taken to the extremes. That you probably are part Loretta and part all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's taking those little bits and then making them one. You know, the reason we like characters usually is because they're exaggerated of one bit of ourselves that we recognise, but they've taken it to such an extreme. We go, I'm glad I'm not like them.
Yeah. So we can all secretly identify. Yeah. Another one of the things that Pippa does is she is co-founder of the Sunday Assembly, which is like a monthly get-together, almost like a sort of godless church, sort of for non-religious people. How did you come up with that idea?
Well, what happened in fact was, so I used to go to church, and then when I stopped believing in God, I realised it wasn't God that I missed, but church. So I missed the kind of community side of it, the hanging out with people, just being in a room with people that I knew, sort of thought along the same lines as me, you know, and just having this sort of place where I could go and develop as a person, really. So that's what I missed. And then fast forward 12 years or something, and I'm in a car driving Sanderson Jones to a gig because we're doing a gig in Bath. I was headlining, and we just started talking about church and stuff, and then I said, you know, I've always wondered if it was possible to make a church without God, and Sanderson was like, oh, I've always wondered that too, and so we went, well, let's do it together. So we started it, and then it's sort of one of those things that just grew, because we did over sort of 18 months we put it together, and then finally the day came when we were going to do it, and I thought, who's going to come to this? No one's going to come. And over 200 people turned up to the first one, and then now we have a regular, so we do it twice a month in London. We have 400 people coming every time. We have 26 Sunday assemblies across the world. There's going to be 100 by end of September, so it's really big. People just really, they get it. You know, people want community, and it really, particularly in cities, people want that community feeling.
Do you think that they sort of found that they wanted something they didn't even realise they wanted? Kind of.
Yeah, well, sort of. A lot of people said, I've been looking for this, but I didn't know it was this.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's because there's no sort of doctrine or anything. It really is just going, let's all get together and think about how we could make ourselves better, make other people better, help other people. It's really just a really genuinely nice thing, which is why it sort of jars a little bit with comedy, because obviously comedy doesn't always. Well, not that it doesn't make you feel good, but doesn't often encourage you to go, hey, the world's a great place, guys. Let's all be happy and be in harmony. You know.
True. Well, I think that's really great. So, how many years have you come to the Fringe? What's this number?
I've been not to ask. The Fringe since 2005 was my first one, but this is my my first solo show was in 2008. So it's 6 years of solo shows, which is it was funny when I first started. I thought by now, you know, you'd have all the answers, but actually now I feel like now I'm just quite relaxed about it. Whereas before it was always like, what are we going to achieve by the end of the Fringe? Whereas I'm just having a great Fringe, which is really nice.
And is it a good one so far? Oh, this show, you seemed like you were having the best time.
Yeah, well, this show is the first time I've ever done a show in my own voice. And
see, I did wonder about that. I wondered when I read it in the brochure whether you wouldn't do any characters and it would be almost sort of straight stand-up.
Yeah, well, that's never going to happen just because my background is old-time music halls and variety shows. So for me, an hour of someone talking is the most boring thing in the world. So there will always be songs, there will always be characters. But I like a bit of it. And what I wanted to achieve from this show was to, A, feel comfortable being myself, and to B, for people leave, say, oh, Pippa Evans, I know who she is. You know, so...